Mazi Smith, first-round draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys, will protect Micah Parsons this year. I'm going to get into that, guys, and a whole lot more. But before I do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. All right, guys, so the Cowboys, with the first selection of the first round, pick 26, pick Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, two-gap specialist, roll grader, space eater, big, strong, physical young man out of the University of Michigan. And listen, guys, it's a lot of good with that pick, and I'm going to talk about some of those things, and I'm going to talk about, in particular, how he will protect our chess piece, our central chess piece, the queen chess piece. And if you're not familiar with chess, the queen is the piece that you protect in the game, and the queen has all the flexibility to move anywhere across the board to win the game. So we analogize Micah Parsons on this channel as a chess piece. All right, and so he's a central piece of that defense, and a piece that you got to really account for, and a piece that, if you can, you have to protect. So before I get into all that content, let me give a little bit of background. Before the acquisition of Jonathan Hankins, who has been re-signed, a huge one tech that is currently on our roster, around 340 to 50 some odd pounds. He was acquired via free agency and signed after we played the Philadelphia Eagles on the first game. Up until that game where we played the Philadelphia Eagles, and hey, we lost that game, the first game in the regular season versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We didn't have a lot of success taking care of the run and stopping the run, especially in between the tackles, notably with our defensive linemen. And we have Osa Odighizuwa, we have also Gallimore there, we also had Golson, we also had Quentin Bohanna there, to name a couple guys that we played on the inside. We also had Carlos Watkins play down there some as well. And the reality of it is that those guys are good players, can contribute, and are really three technique players, which are the type of players that play on the outside shoulder of the guard, in between the tackle, meaning that typically they're going to be blocked one-on-one unless it's a down block and a double team coming their way or play side. So when they were in between the guard and the center of that offensive line, getting double teamed, getting pushed back, it just got ugly, guys. It didn't look that good. And so the Cowboys, being smart, being wise, being proactive, made an adjustment, and we signed Jonathan Hankins. Since we signed Jonathan Hankins, moving forward after the Philadelphia Eagles game, we had much more success. It was very difficult for teams to run in between the tackles with us, with the addition of Jonathan Hankins. Now, fast forward. We now know that, hey, having a big guy from this experiment that we did in season, and this is really, I believe, the central reason why the Dallas Cowboys picked Mazi Smith was because of the success of Jonathan Hankins. If Jonathan Hankins had not come in here and been successful, we would not have drafted Mazi Smith with that first pick. But he proved the concept that if you have a big, strong, physical man in the middle of that offensive line playing on your defensive line, that you're going to shut down teams and you're going to make it extremely difficult for them to run the football inside on you. Now, when you add Mazi Smith, now you have two big guys in the middle of that defense, right? So really, we should be extremely difficult to run the ball on. Now, we don't know exactly what Dan Quinn is going to do. It could be a situation to where we rotate Mazi Smith. It could be situations and packages, and I predict this, that we will have Mazi Smith and Jonathan Hankins on first and second down on the football field at the same time. And when you think about that, that's extremely exciting. Now, what does that do for Micah Parsons? I'll get into a few things here. Number one, if you have Jonathan Hankins and Mazi Smith on the football field at the same time, Micah Parsons may play defensive end. He may play in the middle of that defense. If you go back and you look at Michigan tape, the great thing that Mazi Smith did was defeat one-on-one blocks. In other words, you had almost no chance to stop this man if he is one-on-one. And also, if you're running a zone or a toss, you had to make a decision if you were the double teamer with Mazi Smith. You had to stay on Mazi Smith to try to get some push, to try to ensure he did not split you and the person that you're blocking with, or you had to rub off quick and try to get to the second level. Micah Parsons is a 4-3 40. If he's playing middle linebacker and we have Jonathan Hankins and we have Mazi Smith on the field at the exact same time, it's gonna be an impossibility to get a block off on Micah Parsons, because if you come off, first of all, Micah Parsons is so quick, he's gonna be hard to get to anyway. Number two, if you hesitate whatsoever, Micah Parsons will shoot through that A and B gap. He will make plays in the backfield all day long. Let's go back and think about Micah Parsons before he came into the NFL and how extremely effective he was at shooting A and B gap blitzes up the middle with Penn State. Well, what enables him to do that is the necessity of a double team and a problem that offensive line has to deal with up front, which means you cannot quickly rub off and look on the second level and try to block a shooting and a blitzing linebacker because you got your hand full with Mazi Smith and or Jonathan Hankins. So that is the first way that Mazi Smith is going to protect Micah Parsons. He's going to keep him clean, and he's going to allow him to run through gaps and make plays from that middle linebacker position. 2, when he's in the game, going back to what I just mentioned, Mazi Smith is really adept at good at winning one-on-one matchups with guards. If he's lined up over the guard, okay, on a passing down, all right, and you have Micah Parsons lined up on that same side, and you have another defender lined up in the gap. It could be a 4-3 over or under. It could be a variety of packages that Dan Quinn puts together. What are you going to do now? You're going to leave Micah Parsons one-on-one? Because you're going to have to leave on one-on-one if it's a run or pass situation. That's going to give Micah Parsons the one-on-one pass pro with an offensive tackle. I'm taking Micah Parsons in that 90% of the time. Doesn't matter to me who that offensive lineman is. Micah Parsons is so fast. He's so explosive. He's so athletic. He's so strong that one-on-one, he's gonna 9 times out of 10 create a pressure, a turnover, or get a sack. So you can force one-on-one matchups by overloading your big guys, especially because you have a true 2-gap guy here that can truly hold up 2 blockers. And that is going to keep Micah Parsons clean, not just in the run game, but also in the passing game, and naturally and symbiotically create more one-on-one matchups for Micah Parsons. So Mazi Smith protects Micah Parsons. Last thing, but definitely not the least thing, his attitude. He brings an attitude, he brings a philosophy that, hey, I got your back. Even in his press conference, he mentioned, hey, Dan Quinn said, we don't want to change you, Mazi. We respect what you do. We like what you do. We want you to do what you do, which is plug up gaps, take up space, stop the run. So our linebackers and Micah Parsons in particular, the queen on our chessboard for that defense, can run free and make tons of plays and rack it up and might go for a run at the defensive MVP this year if we can get some good production out of Mazi Smith, because that's how much he will keep Micah Parsons clean and also allow Dan Quinn to scheme and get this entire defense in favorable matchups. You heard it here first, man. And look, if you like this content, follow, like, share, subscribe, Boss Cowboy Sports. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. And until next time, salute.